Welcome back to Real Airgun Adventures. Well, it's pistol time again, and today it's the turn of the Webley Alecto. Now I say Webley, and actually, funny enough, I did a video recently where I talked about the Turkish connection with Webley, and this is kind of going to throw a spanner in the works because yes, it's Turkish, but it's from a company called Atak Arms, and they market this as a Zoraki. I think it's an HP1. So this is branded Webley, but it's exactly the same as the Zoraki. Now it's different in two ways. Obviously, this is a very target-centered grip with the ergonomic shaped pistol grip and the palm rest, which is adjustable. It's also got probably the most adjustable trigger I've ever seen in my life. But have a little look at it. Now, I've actually heard this referred to as the Desert Eagle of air pistols, and I can see what they mean. It's definitely got that going on. Now, this is a multi-pump pneumatic pistol. It's got that target look to it, but it isn't a dedicated target pistol. If you're interested in getting into target shooting and you want to do something a bit more serious, then this is a great way to start, but it's not actually a target pistol. Anyway, it's got 3 power levels because it's multi-pump. So a single pump is good for 10 meters target shooting. 2 pumps gives you a bit more range and will probably do some serious blinking. Notice I'm keeping my fingers out of the way. And then 3 pumps is full power, and that's advertised at 550 FPE, and they say short range pest control. Now, price wise, actually before we go too much further, just get rid of that. Price wise, this is appearing for around the 250 to 300 mark, depending upon where you buy it from. Now that makes it more expensive than the Crossman's and puts it firmly in the Viroc HW45 territory. So this does need to have some interesting features to make it competitive, and of course it does. Now the safety, auto safety on this, you can see it there, blocks the trigger, also immobilizes the trigger when it's on. You can't move the trigger. It's got 2 wings either side, which mean you can literally just flick it off out the way. When you do that, it's really out of the way. There's no chance of that causing you any kind of interference at all. So that's a really nice feature. Being multi-pump and having 3 power levels gives it the edge over the Viroc and the Crossman's. Having a ergonomic pistol grip with this incredibly adjustable palm grip, palm rest, again is an advantage. But the thing that I can't get my head around, and I think it's a great feature, that trigger is the most adjustable trigger in the world. You can even adjust the actual elements of the blade. You can change it slightly to make it feel comfortable and fit you best. Now, I've not seen that on anything around this price level before, so that really is quite impressive. Now, the thing that I wouldn't say concern me, but I'm not convinced that this is a pest control pistol, I've got to be honest. If this does produce 550 FPE, which it probably does with the right pellets, I'm not sure I'd want to go pesting with it. That's just me. I wouldn't think twice about taking the Crossman 2240 out to some short range rat work, but this, I'm not so sure. Anyway, we'll do some shooting and I'll be right back. Well, there we go. That's an accurate little air pistol. Now, I did that on one pump at 10 yards. Obviously, it's open sights. They're really adjustable open sights. It's even got 2 settings on the end here. Just give this a flick. Now, I think maybe I could set that up for 10 and 20 yards, perhaps. Just flick it up straight away. I'll have to find out. Now, while I'm looking at this, it does have, this is Weaver rail on the bottom. Actually, it's Picatinny on the bottom. And this looks like a Weaver on the top. So you can add sighting aids, and probably if you're going to pump it up to maximum and use it at a distance, you would need that. I don't think I could fire this beyond 10 yards without some kind of help. To put the pellet in, it's like most of the single stroke pneumatics. So barrel's in there and the pellet drops in just there. There's quite a bit of space there, which is nice, a bit more than I expected. It's easy to pump. It's easier, I think, than the Beeman P17. One pump is very easy, actually. Now, I think I like it. I'm going to have to spend some time with it. It is accurate. It is easy to pump. It's quite nice to use. It's not the prettiest air pistol I've ever seen, I've got to say. But yeah, it's got some really good little features to it. Now, if you were to add sighting aids, then obviously none of that stuff's allowed for target shooting, so it kind of defeats the object. But if you're really interested in getting a bit more serious about your target shooting, then one of these with that grip and that palm rest is going to set you well on the way. It's not, as I say, delicate or petite. It's big and robust, and that's really, I think, what I like about it. Interestingly, it seems to fit my hand perfectly. Everything just lines up. It just feels really nice. It's around about the £2 mark, and a quick chrono gave me just shy of 5 foot-pounds with they were Marksman cheap pellets. For the target shooting, I did use some JSBs. I haven't chronoed those yet, so we'll have to see. I think this will do the 550, depending on your pellet weight. But I don't think I'd use it for ratting, to be honest. I just don't think it's going to be humane. I might be wrong, but it's not something that I'm going to test. I do like the overall look. Initially, I was a bit, ugh, but actually it is quite a good looking pistol, especially when you've got it in your hand. This is right-handed. There didn't seem to be a left-hand option anywhere, and for a lefty, it's pretty much, well, that'd be horrible, if I'm honest. Oddly, I am a lefty, but I shoot right-handed. Now, for your money, your 250 quid, you get a hard case, which is a nice, heavy, robust hard case, and it comes with a few tools, well, a couple of tools, which is a barrel cleaning brush and a key. I guess that's a Torx wrench for the various adjustments. A tiny tube of oil, which is a nice touch, and this round hole, which is nicely fitted, takes a tin of pellets. It doesn't come with a tin of pellets, well, mine didn't anyway, but a tin of pellets fits in there perfectly. So it isn't bad value for money. You know, this isn't a budget air pistol. It's a proper air pistol or a proper price, but it is very nice, and I think it's probably worth every penny. You might be able to pick one up used, because they've been around for a while now, and there's not a great deal to go wrong. Having said that, I suspect that this isn't beyond the wit of your average air gunner to service. Looks pretty straightforward. This is a pressure release valve in the top here, so obviously if you try and get above the maximum amount that you can pump it, it just releases it out the valve. So you'd be wasting your time, effort for nothing. But as a multi-pump air pistol for the UK, because obviously our regulations differ from other parts of the world, I think this is a really nice gun and a really good buy. I love the fact you can change the trigger blade. You can change the angle of that blade to suit your own personal preference. And that's probably going to make a big difference to your accuracy. Adjustable sights, properly adjustable sights for elevation and windage, that's always good. And the fact you've got this extra adjustment at the end here is really superb. There's no fibre optics on this. There's a little bit of white paint. I don't think that'll probably come up in the video, but there's a little bit of white paint on the end there which makes that more visible. Other than that, it's proper old school. That is a really nice gap in the rear sight there. I like that. The issue I find with some of these pistols is that the gap's just too wide. Or too wide for me, it's just not the way I like to shoot. The plastics themselves are good quality. There are absolutely no seams that you can feel. Nothing's unsightly. It's all really well finished, as you'd expect, because you've moved up into a different price bracket. Overall, good pistol. Now I'm going to be unkind and say that actually I think that the Beeman P17 is as good as this. And it's a much cheaper pistol, but it doesn't have the ergonomic grip or the palm rest or all those adjustments on the trigger. But even without that, I can shoot a group with that just as well as I can with this. It is harder to actually shut the lid and cock. This is easier, and this does develop more power. That's probably down to the way the whole thing's put together. That's a big cylinder there. That's probably a longer rod. It's a thicker rod. I think this is slightly longer too, which allows you a bit more leverage. Again, there are rear sights on the back, which will certainly cut into your hand if you press against them too hard. But you don't need to. You can stop your hand there. Same advice I give with all these things. Keep your hand flat. Keep your fingers well out there for obvious reasons. But I don't think that's a difficult pistol to cock. And I do like that safety. I mean, I would rather it didn't have a safety, if I'm absolutely honest, or a manual safety you could just ignore. But for an auto safety, that's the best you're going to get. That's as close as you can get to not having to think about it, just a flick, and it's right out of the way. There's loads of room in there now. It's pretty damn good, and I'd say if you're in the market for something around this price and you like target shooting or you're really keen to get into it, this would be the way to go. Especially you say you've got a Beeman P17 and you're looking to upgrade and take things a bit more seriously, then this would be the next logical step, and you get a case and some tools and some oil and something that looks very distinctive. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. I will come back and do an update on this because I'm going to do some pellet tests, a bit more chronograph on it, and I will try it at 3 pumps at, we'll go sort of maybe 30 yards and see what I can hit. But to do that, I'm going to have to add some kind of sighting aid because there's no way I can hit anything with those open sights at 30 yards, other than perhaps one of my neighbour's windows. Best to avoid that. So, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. It's a big thank you to all those who have, and I say this every time, I really appreciate it. It makes the whole thing worthwhile. So I'll see you all again soon. Got a couple of very interesting things coming up, so keep them peeled. Bye for now.